So real quickly, the idea of inequalities, it's very similar to an equation. With an equation, it equals a specific number. With an inequality, it provides a range of values that your x could be, or whatever your variable is. You have the terms less than, so this symbol represents less than. This is the symbol for greater than. Our symbol for less than or equal to, and then our symbol for greater than or equal to. It's easy to be able to remember the less than and greater than symbols because they look like arrows, don't they? And if you're thinking of a number line, so if we're thinking of a number line and I have arrows at the end of my number line, my lesser numbers are on the left side, so the arrow is pointing to the left. And my greater numbers are on the right side where my arrow is pointing to the right. So think of a number line and think of the arrows at the end of your number line. You know the smaller or lesser numbers are on the left side. The greater or the larger numbers are on the right. Those arrows resemble your inequality symbols. The only difference between less than, greater than, and the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to is it has the line underneath it to represent the equal portion. Okay, those are the only differences there. All right, so let's think of some phrases, or let me give to you phrases that represent less than. So it's not just less than, but if you see is less than, that's an obvious use of a less than symbol. But you might see the phrase is fewer than. That also will represent the less than symbol. Is smaller than. Make sure. Will represent your less than symbol. Okay, is under. Or is below. All of these represent the exact same symbol, which is your less than symbol. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight that symbol in pink. Okay? Then we have our greater than symbol. So again, the greater than symbol, the arrow is pointing to the right. If it was a number line, it would be in the direction of the larger numbers. And then, of course, we have the Captain Obvious here. The term or the phrase is greater than would represent a greater than symbol. Is more than. Is bigger or larger than. Okay, so you see is bigger, is larger. Is over, is above, and then one little phrase or term or word, exceeds. I say you exceed my expectations. It means that you've gone above and beyond what I expected of you. So if I expected you to get 70% of your work done, but you got 100% of your work done, you exceeded what I was expecting from you. So you went above, it went greater. So these are all words and phrases to represent the greater than symbol. Now, a lot of people would think, oh, well, if it's a less than, then the phrases for less than or equal to would be the same. But they're not. Because having that ability to be equal to as well changes the terminology completely. Being less than means it has to start at a value but not equal that value. So if I'm saying it's less than 50 pounds, 50 pounds won't work. It has to be 49.9999999 pounds. That would work, or anything smaller than that. But if I say it's less than or equal to 50 pounds, 50 pounds is a potential solution. Okay, so the terminology is different. That means the phrases that are available for less than or equal to are going to be different as well. So we always start with the Captain Obvious. Is less than or equal. That's always the first one that we know represents less than or equal to. Then here's the ones that seem to trick people up the most. Less than or equal to can also be phrased as is at most. Is at most means it could be equal to that value or smaller. Is no more than. Is no more than this value means this value is the largest it can possibly be. The maximum again, maximum means this is the most it could possibly be. It can be something smaller than that as well, though. Okay, then we have the terms for greater than or equal to. So again, greater than or equal to has its own different phrasing as well. So is greater than or equal to. The one that messes people up is at least. Is at least. You must be at least 50 inches tall to ride this ride. Okay, you see that all the time when you go to amusement parks, fairs, and you want to get on a ride. They have a sign that always is next to it, says you must be at least this tall to ride this ride. Okay, you must be at least 16 years old to get your driver's license.
Doesn't it mean you have to be 16?
At least 16. Means you can be 16 or you could be 17 if you want to. My husband didn't get his driver's license till he was 20. He came from China. You don't really need a driver's license over there because you don't really drive.
You can get a driver's permit at 15.
I didn't say permit. I said license. License, you must be 16. Okay? Is no less than. That also represents greater than or equal to. And then what's the opposite of maximum? What word is opposite of maximum? Minimum. Okay? So minimum also represents greater than or equal to. When I tell you guys that you're doing an IXL, I say you need a minimum score of a 70. It means you can go above a 70 to get that extra credit, but you need a minimum score of 70 to be able to get full credit. Okay? Now, when we are graphing, here's an important thing to understand. Your less than and greater than symbols, when you graph it, you graph them with an open circle. What that means, so if I have it saying x is greater than 3, or if I have x is less than 6, these are all going to be graphed with open circles. So here, if I have a little graph, I have 0, and then 1, 2, 3, here's where 3 is, and I'm saying it's going to be a greater than 3. That means at the 3, I would graph an open circle. I would draw a circle above the 3, and then a line that extends out going to the right and shows it's going forever. Okay? For all of eternity. Okay? If I'm doing the same thing to show, hey, this is x is less than 6, again, the less than symbol means it would be an open circle starting at the 6, and I would go to the left. I would draw my line with an arrow showing I'm going to the left, forever and ever and ever. Unless it's a compound inequality, which we won't learn about compound inequalities this year. You will learn about it later on. Okay, with less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to, those circles would then become closed. That means that you would fill them in. So if I have x is greater than 3, greater than or equal to 3, then I'm going to go ahead and do a closed circle above the 3. So I'm going to draw a circle above the 3, and I'm going to fill it in, because that means I'm starting and I'm including the value 3, and then I go to the right. If it was x is less than or equal to 6, then again I have these drawn. I have my 6 right here. I would then do a circle above the 6 and I'd fill it in. I would close it and it would go to the left all the way. Okay, so that's showcasing how to graph when given an open circle or closed circle. It depends on the inequality symbol. If it has the extra line underneath it, then you take the extra time to fill the circle in. Okay, it's a nice little way to think of it. If you have to do the extra step of drawing a line underneath, you have to do the extra step of filling the circle in. All right? So, always remember this. This is very, very key. You always want to graph with the variable on the left side. So remember when we were working through our equations and I'd be like, ooh, I don't like how this equation's written. Yeah. And it's because it was the variable was on the right. We don't like variables on the right side. We always want to rewrite. We always want to rewrite so that our variable's on the left. But when we rewrite an inequality, everything has to flip. Notice how the mouth of the inequality is opened on the 4, like it's going to eat the 4. You want to make sure it still continues to have open mouth at the 4 when you rewrite. So you rewrite by flipping everything. Okay? So not only is the 4 going to go on the right side and the x is going to go on the left side, but my inequality, I'm going to circle this inequality, it's going to flip as well. So it becomes a less than symbol. You flip everything. On the back of your page, you should have it turned over. We're going to go ahead and graph these inequalities. I'm just going to do the first 2 with you. You'll do the second 2 on your own. First thing that I always want to check before I'm graphing is, do I have it written in the manner that I want? Meaning, is it written with the variable on the left side of the inequality symbol? So is the variable on the left side? Yes. So from here, I can graph it exactly as it is stated. The reason we want the variable on the left side is because the inequality arrow points in the direction that you're going to draw your line. Okay? So the arrow right now is pointing to the right. That means when I draw my line, I'm going to go to the right. So I'm going to start at what value? A 1. Is it going to be an open or closed circle? Open. So right above the 1, I'm going to draw an open circle, and then from my circle, I'm going to go to the right. That's it. For problem number 2, is it written the way that I want it to be written? No. So we need to do a rewrite. X is going to go on the left side. -2 is going to go on the right side. And when I rewrite it, my inequality is going to flip. So it becomes less than or equal to. Now I can go ahead and graph it. Where am I going to start? What number do I start at? -2. Is it open or closed circle? Closed. So starting at -2, I'm going to draw a circle and it's going to be closed. And then what direction am I going to go? To the left or to the right? To the left. Okay, go ahead and do problem 3 and 4 on your own. Okay, number 3, first thing I need to do is what? Brian? Rewrite. We need to go ahead and do a quick rewrite. We're going to go ahead and put the x on the left side. We're going to put the 5 on the right side. And then our inequality symbol is going to flip and become greater than or equal to. Is that going to be an open or closed circle? Closed. It's going to be a closed circle. Is it going to go to the left or to the right? To the right. It's pointing to the right. It's going to graph it to the right. So this is going to be a closed circle. It's going to go to the right. So starting at positive 5, I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to fill it in because it's an equal to sign. And the arrow is pointing to the right, so I'm going to draw my line to the right. Okay, for problem number 4, do I need to do a rewrite? No, don't need to do a rewrite at all. So now I'm just going to look at it. Is it open or closed? Open. Is it going to be left or right? Left. So it is an open circle, and it's going to go to the left based off of the inequality symbol being a less than symbol. So starting at 4.5, so I'm going to go over here, 4.5. Where am I going to put that? In the middle of what?
4 and 5.
In the middle of 4 and 5. So above where the 4 and the 5 are, I'm going to go ahead, or right in between the 4 and the 5, I'm going to draw a little line. And then right above that line, I'm going to draw an open circle. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the left. Okay, so there's my graphing. Now, they aren't always going to be you graphing it. Sometimes you're going to be given the graph, and you have to write the inequality from it. So based off of that, what we want to identify here is open or closed circle, left or right. So this is an open circle, and it's graphing it to the right. When it's an open circle graphed to the right, so it's open, and it's going to the right, that means it's a greater than symbol. So that means x is going to be greater than what value? -1. Actually, I'm going to write it up here. I'm going to put x is greater than -1 because it's starting at that -1. Let me go ahead and get rid of this here so that way it doesn't throw y'all off. Okay. All right, taking a look at problems 6 and 7, I want you to identify what the inequality symbol is going to be. Based off of it being open or closed and going to the left or to the right, what inequality symbol is represented in that situation. Okay? Okay, so based off of here, is this going to be an open or closed circle? Closed, because it is filled in, right? It's closed circle, so it means it's going to have an equal line underneath it. It's an equal line underneath it, and it's going to what direction here? To the left. So when we have a closed circle and it's going to the left, what symbol was that? Closed and to the left, what symbol was that? Less than or equal to. It was a less than. So look, our arrow that was going to the left looks like a less than symbol. Because it's filled in, it's got the equal to sign underneath it. So it's going to be x is less than or equal to what value? 2, because our circle is starting at the 2. Okay, x is less than or equal to 2. Let's take a look at the last problem, problem number 7. Open or closed circle? Open. What direction? To the left. It's open and it goes to the left. So what symbol is open and goes to the left? Less than. The less than symbol, right? Our arrow points to the left. It looks like the less than symbol. It's x is less than what value? 7. Okay. What you're going to do now, we're going to do a GIM kit. The GIM kit is going to go over your inequality key vocabularies and graphing.